We've had a really good taste of Mexico so far. We have definitely spent some time in touristy places like Playa del Carmen and Tulum. But wherever possible, we've been trying to get off the beaten path as much as we can. Like, get scooters, stay away from the real touristy stuff, and try and see more of the authentic Mexico.
Yeah, but when you think of authentic experiences, like all-inclusive resorts in Cancun aren't top of our list. To us, it's kind of as touristy as you can get, but for some reason Cancun just seems to be this hotspot with everybody.
Yeah, it's definitely not our typical scene, but we thought it'd be really interesting to basically book 3 nights at $270 per night in an all-inclusive resort in Cancun called Oleo, so that we could kind of just have a really objective and clear view on is it worth it? What's all the fuss about?
Yeah, so instead of our normal travel vlog, we wanted to do this vlog, which breaks down into a couple of different categories because, we just wanted to share our thoughts on whether or not it was worth it.
So to set the scene a little bit, before we talk about food and drink, which I'm hoping is your main reasons for why you would be interested, because it definitely was ours, but to set the scene, the place that we were staying at, like I said, is called Oleo. Right on the beachfront. Yeah. And it is actually a very nice beach as well.
Yeah, and if you're not staying at an all-inclusive, you can't actually get access to the beach. So that's another reason to stay at one. But
it's one of the nicest beaches that we have actually seen in the whole time in Mexico as well.
Very well kept. 2 swimming pools. It had a third as well at the spa, but that treatments weren't included, so we didn't really spend any time there.
Kind of boutique, small, not a mass, enormous thing. So like when you check in, we got given a map that kind of highlights where everything is, and it never was really too busy.
No, and that's one of the main reasons we actually chose Oleo, was because it was a bit more boutique and you wouldn't be surrounded by a million other people.
We were also hoping that meant that the food was a little bit more premium, that everything was a little bit more personable, but we'll talk about that in a bit. A lot of the various hotels or all-inclusive places along the strip are adults only. This place isn't. There's not that many kids around. I feel like there's maybe 2 or 3 families that are together that have got the bulk of the children, and they're pretty well behaved, the bulk of the children. You kind of always know when they're around, especially when there's like alcohol and fun going on and stuff. So we're just trying to find ourselves a spot on the beach here. I really like these teepee tent designs. What's your winner?
I think this one's free.
Yeah. What about a front rower?
Nope, negative on the front row. Dane managed to find a little tent in the front row, so now we just have a completely unobstructed view of the sea. I probably will just sit here and relax. Dane, I can imagine, is going to go on and play in amongst the waves. For me, I feel like I'm more of a either relax and sunbathe kind of gal, or just paddle around or float around on like a more chill vibe.
This is a cocktail on the side.
Yeah, this is like go for a surf to me.
Yeah, it is. It is some pretty aggressive waves, but this is almost a little bit of a rip here, I think, actually, but there's waves there. So that doesn't exactly fit with the whole relax and then throw yourself around and get absolutely destroyed in the waves. Yeah, well, it has been quite funny because it's all inclusive. You do see some people that are just going wild and that have clearly been drinking far too much. It was a big game of volleyball that kicked off yesterday, and you just see people it's a bit of a sketchy sort of environment with the amount of booze that's being consumed.
What about the ice cream and tequila guy?
Oh yeah, there was a couple that we saw yesterday afternoon. They looked like they were both passed out, and then the waiter came down and he had 2 ice creams and 3 tequilas, and they both sort of stood up, hit the tequilas, ate their ice creams, and then passed out right afterwards.
Living the life.
Living the absolute dream.
So the food for us was a bit of a tricky one because we'd already spent a fair bit of time in Mexico and we'd already tried a lot of the local food, which we absolutely love. So we kind of already knew the value, and we knew that you could get $1 tacos and they were absolutely incredible. Whereas at an all-inclusive resort, they're dealing with high volumes and everything. So the buffet, there was never an issue with how much food there was.
We were full for 3 days.
Yeah, we were just kind of a bit like, about the quality of it.
Yeah, it's kind of what you come to expect at any kind of buffet or all-inclusive or like cruise ship kind of scenario. It's sort of...
It's all right, but it's not anything to write home about.
Yeah, the plus is that you get lots of it and you can be very selective about what you have when you want to. So we started every morning off at the buffet in terms of breakfast because there was a relatively decent selection in there. There's plenty of fresh fruit and any of the lighter options if we'd had a big night, which was quite nice or wanted to be healthy. There is cereal as well, although I don't know why you would kind of go to a buffet to eat that. It's funny to see that there was always vodka and like bubbles and alcohol right next to the salad bar. But our favourite part was definitely also the most dangerous, which was where the waffles and the pancakes and the churros and all of the sweet sauces were, including this kind of free-flowing, completely fresh honey situation as well. The buffet changed slightly for breakfast, lunch and dinner though, and there was like a hot section in the evenings and for lunch where they kind of bring out fresh meats, and there was always somebody to cook fresh eggs or kind of make an omelette or whatever it was on a hot plate as well.
So as far as we know, the buffet is open all day, every day, but there are also certain times that you kind of just feel like something a little bit more like snacky or casual. So there's also a snack bar. We can get all sorts of different stuff from, we got guacamole and corn chips, there's tacos, we got tacos al pastor. What else is there? There's salads, hamburgers, cheeseburgers, all sorts of stuff. And they deliver it to either your table where we are now, you can be on the beach, you can be, where else, in the pool, and there's music playing, it's just good vibes all around. We also got some cerveza.
So tonight's the night that we're going to get to figure out if the food in terms of dinner and the top quality stuff is worth it.
Yeah, we're going to, I guess you call it a specialty restaurant.
I suppose so.
It's called Haka, and it's the only one in the entire place that you can actually make a reservation. So by our thinking, that must mean that it's the best one.
It's Japanese food, which we haven't had kind of Asian food in some time. We do have to dress up just a little bit because apparently it says on our little our sheet that it was...
It says casual formal. That is so confusing.
I am hoping though that it's not people in there in like flip-flops and sandals,
Surely
and
not.
I really hope that this is... Everybody knows that this is the step up in terms of the class, and so it feels like you're going out.
It takes one person to just wear their sandals and then, their flip-flops, and then everyone follows suit.
Yeah, I've got very, very high expectations because this is where the comparison really should, I think, come strong. Other than alcohol, of course.
So the food was pretty good. It was definitely a step up from the buffet in terms of quality, and I mean,
it was all fresh as well, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I have to say the most memorable course was a trio of sushi where one of them was cream cheese and strawberry jam.
It was weird to eat that with chopsticks.
It was actually kind of good though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was kind of like breakfast sushi at 8 o'clock at night. But the views were obviously amazing, and just the specialty restaurants as a whole, I think there's 2 or 3.
Yeah,
they are a step up.
It was a nice experience.
Yeah. Well, in terms of drinks, I can't say on a normal travel day or a normal day of like holiday we would have a beer at 10:30 in the morning. But that's the kind of stuff that I think we're going to keep doing. Don't you reckon?
I'm currently doing it. Do you want me to feed you? So I drank before we did a cheers.
Sure.
Cheers.
It's when you're sitting on the beach and somebody walks past and just ask if you want anything. It's very easy to just say dos cerveza por favor at 10:30 in the morning, and next thing you know,
it's a bad habit that I think is going to continue for the next couple of days.
I think it's a good habit. These are the good habits to adapt while you're in this type of environment.
And then adapt right out of them afterwards.
Yeah. That's the problem. Is then you need to remember to not do that again in normal life.
This was definitely the category that we took full advantage of.
This is where we really pulled back our $270 worth.
Yeah, if you don't drink or you don't eat a lot of food, then all-inclusive is probably not for you. You know, you probably won't get your money's worth.
No, but in terms of alcohol, because I'm sure there's people sitting there like salivating right now, just wanting a drink. So beer was freely available, as was bottled water, which was great. Coffee was kind of also quite easy to get. And cocktails as well were kind of always going around.
Lots of people doing shots too.
Yeah, it kind of got wild in places. It was also really easy to get like Prosecco. We drank a lot of bubbles.
We drank a lot of Kahlua as well.
Yeah, just a lot of random spirits as well. So it kind of, basically the answer is it's like everything is there whenever you want it at any time of the day, 24/7. So as you've seen, it's very easy to just be like breakfast time, coffee or beer. Both?
Yeah.
Maybe? But like, it was a pretty wild 2 or 3 days.
So we're in a superior sunset room, and as you come in, they've got a mini bar here with everything except for alcohol, which we thought was kind of weird.
Yeah.
They got soft drinks and water and everything, and a coffee machine. And through there is the bathroom. It's very kind of standard, but the room and the bathroom are minimal and white and clean. I'd say it's probably the most modern part of the whole hotel is the rooms.
I think so. It's huge as well, isn't it?
Massive. We've got a huge room, way too much space, and also way too many beds.
2 beds.
We got 2 beds. Don't need those. I think my favourite part is that we get 2 completely separate views. So out one side is, I'm pointing at the wrong one, that one is the sunset view, and out there is kind of like the estuary, I guess.
Yeah.
So Cancun is on a spit, so on both sides there are water, and then out the other side we get the beach view, which is probably my favourite part.
So I guess the biggest thing is we should wrap this up with, is it worth $270 per night? What do you think?
I think the positive for us was that we did have a lot of fun. We probably booked a few too many nights.
I think one too many. I think 2 nights is the perfect amount of time, especially if you can make that kind of 3 days-ish.
Yeah, and I think the other thing we should have done is started in Cancun.
Yeah.
Because we kind of experienced a lot more of the authentic and raw Mexico, and it's to go to Cancun after that, we sort of were like...
It felt like a 180 kind of in the wrong direction, didn't it? But I think if you flew into Cancun airport, spent two or 3 days getting wicked with some friends and eating a bunch of food, and then you kind of go off on your exploring, it could be quite a nice way to do it.
That would definitely be the way to go.
So the beach was amazing. The pool was really nice. The drinks were constantly flying. Not a fan of Dos Equos.
No,
I don't know how to
and they
pronounce
didn't
the beer. They're the only beer that they had.
Yeah. The food was the biggest letdown for me, but I feel like if we spent more money and we leveled up a bit
in terms of the
cost, then we probably would have got better quality food.
Potentially.
I mean,
I don't know if I'm willing to do a video that's like $500. That might be pushing things just a little bit for the purpose.
I mean, I prefer to be sitting on a street corner. I'm sure you do too, and just like be at one with the taco.
The trouble for us, is that we love authentic with a mixture of kind of luxury and familiarity and ease. And this kind of felt like too far in one direction.
Yeah.
So is it worth $270? I would say yes, for 1 or 2 nights to have fun.
If you like a cheeky beverage or 2.
17 per day basically is where it needs to be.